You're watching DC News Now at 9.
And we have found multiple breaking stories as we come on the air tonight. In DC, people being told to stay away from a park after a suspicious discovery found buried there. Metro is bypassing a nearby station. We're live in moments. What we know at this hour.
Also breaking tonight, crushed cars left in piles. After a parking garage collapses in New York City, at least one person dead. We take you there tonight.
And all new tonight, addressing student overdoses after a tragedy on campus. The new plan to allow Arlington students to carry the overdose reversal drug Narcan.
First, that breaking news in Northeast DC. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Tasmin Mahfouz.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Flanagan. Right now, we're tracking the fallout of a suspicious discovery at Fort Totten Park.
Yeah, that discovery of 2 metal canisters has both the park and the nearby Fort Totten Metro station shut down. Our Daniel Hamburg is on the scene right now. And Daniel, what is it about these canisters that's prompting such a big response? And we can see that active scene still behind you.
Well, Tasmin, first off, we have seen some of the crews here packing things up. We don't know how much longer crews are going to be here at the moment. An ambulance just left. You can see some of the hazmat crews packing things up here. The reason why this is so concerning to find those canisters, back in 2020, the National Park Service discovered an empty World War I era metal canister on the surface of the ground in a different area of the park while working on the Fort Totten Trail. And at the time, NPS thought the canister could be an unexploded ordnance, and it was taken away and reviewed by the Department of Defense. That munition was an unfused and unused empty canister, and it was safely disposed of. Still don't know where that came from. Today, they found 2 metal canisters in a mound of soil in Fort Totten Park. We are just south of Gallatin Street, east of Fort Totten Drive. And out of an abundance of caution, and until more research can be done, the National Park Service says that the United States Park Police has blocked off the site, and they're urging people to stay out of the area. Part of why the metro station is closed as a precaution. Now, again, these canisters found in a large mound of soil along Farragut Street that appears to have been pushed into the park from the road. Now, we did talk with one neighbor who says, again, this is not out of the ordinary to find something in this park, and he says, really, this is just part of living here.
No fear, nothing. This is just another day. You know what's going on. As long as I found what happened, was up there. Okay, it's cool.
Now, the U.S. Army will analyze the canisters and contents at a Marine Corps base, Quantico. The origins of the canisters and several mounds of soil along the edge of the road are under investigation. Again, this street right here is closed for the time being. Again, not sure how long crews are going to be here, but there is a lot more to be looked into to figure out exactly where these canisters came from and what was in them. That will be something that we will be looking into in the next couple of days here. We're live in Northeast. Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
Daniel, thank you. And now to more breaking news, this time from New York, where tonight we're learning more about a deadly parking garage collapse.
It happened late this afternoon in Manhattan's financial district. This Citizen app video, the scene from a New Yorker, showing the view from above. We know a garage employee was killed. At least 5 other people were hurt. Officials say the concrete floors fell on top of each other like a stack of pancakes. So dangerous, the fire department had to keep its members from rushing in.
An extremely dangerous operation for our firefighters. We responded to a call of a collapse in the building. We had firefighters inside the building conducting searches. The building was continuing to collapse. We made the decision to remove all our people from the building. Our robotics unit happened to be nearby. They were on scene very quickly.
You can see here crushed cars all piled together. People nearby said they heard rumbling followed by screams. The garage caved in around 4 this afternoon, a few blocks from the Brooklyn Bridge and about a half mile from the New York Stock Exchange.
Investigators think everyone is accounted for, but searches continue to make sure no one is inside any of those crushed cars. Right now, it's not really clear what caused the collapse, but records do show that the 3-story building has been a garage since at least the 1920s, and there are no recent permits for construction.
All right, let's get a first check on the forecast. The Chief Meteorologist, Janessa Webb. Got a lot of sunshine heading our way.
Yeah, Janessa, we could be looking at some record temperatures too this week.
Yeah, we're gradually warming up each day, and so that's the beneficial news. What's not so beneficial is the winds. They are cranking out there out of the west. You can see our live cam out towards Reagan right now, and definitely still blustery. We're going to let go of these winds around that midnight hour and sit under a fairly comfortable, settled weather pattern as we go into your overnight and the start of your Wednesday here. The cloud coverage, it is limited out there. A few more clouds lingering out towards Front Royal into Winchester. The rest of us mostly to partly clear skies, and we're not talking about precip across the East Coast anywhere. And so it's a very dry spell that we are currently sitting under. Now, westerly flow for tonight, and as the heat starts to crank up, we're going to notice the transition of our winds out of the south. So you'll gradually start to notice that tomorrow afternoon. Right now, sustained winds, that's a constant wind speed, about 5 to 10 miles per hour. But we have seen gusts today up to about 35 to 40 miles per hour. So hopefully get rid of that here as we go into the middle of this week. Clear skies for the rest of the evening. I do have a few concerns across a few of our counties well to our west tonight due to all this clearing that's taking place. Frosty conditions, they're back in the forecast. We'll look at that coming up.
Janessa, thanks. New details tonight to the story of bravery when confronted by a nightmare. A Frederick County teen is detailing her heroin escape from an attempted kidnapping.
And she says she pulled out a taser to scare the kidnapper away.
Yeah, we spoke to 16-year-old Macy Como and her mother. Macy says she was walking on Knoxville Road in Brunswick Monday when she was offered a ride home. At first, she thought she knew the driver, so she got into the car. Second glance, she realized he was a stranger.
I had pulled out my taser before he could grab me, and I zapped it, I guess, just to scare him, to get him to unlock the door. And whenever he unlocked the door, I ran as fast as I could. And
while Maryland law does say you need to be 18 years old to have a stun gun, Macy's mom has this advice for parents.
Be more aware of their surroundings and teach your children, techniques to help them, even if they have to get them an alarm that sounds off, just get one of them and give them to the child, no matter the age. It could be anybody.
Well, Macy says the driver tried to lock the doors of the car. Luckily, she managed to get out in time and run home. Meanwhile, state police are still looking for this attempted kidnapper. They say he's around a 50-year-old bald man, possibly with a speech impediment. He may be driving a small black car, perhaps a minivan.
And tonight we've learned water has been restored to 3 schools in Alexandria after a water main break this morning. Now, a broken pipe forced the closure of Douglas MacArthur Elementary, James K. Polk Elementary, and Patrick Henry K-8 school. Now the 3 schools will open on a regular schedule tomorrow.
And more than 2 months after a 15-year-old overdosed and died in an Arlington High School bathroom, the school district is looking for new ways to keep students safe. District is on track to allow students to carry the life-saving Narcan, which can overturn the effects of an overdose. Northern Virginia Bureau reporter Max Marcilla joining us live tonight from Wakefield High School. And Max, this new policy still has to be finalized, but it shows a new tactic in how Arlington hopes to keep its students safe in school.
That's right, because right now it's all up to the staff and the nurses in the schools. APS says more than 100 staff are certified and can use Narcan in schools, but now the division is adding students to the effort to prevent another tragedy.
For our children,
there's been a push by parents, community members, and students to help curb a prevalent problem, opioids in schools. Back in February, a student at Wakefield High School died as a result of an overdose, and now a massive change in prevention plans.
Anything that you can do to prevent any deaths, overdosing in the school system, any immediate solutions is great.
Arlington County Schools is finalizing a plan that would allow students to carry and use naloxone, commonly known as Narcan. It's a change it says can be made because the FDA just approved the first over-the-counter naloxone spray.
It can truly save a life, so carrying it is incredibly important.
The details of APS's policy are still in the works, but the district says students who can carry naloxone will have to get trained and have the okay from their parent. Elder Julio Basurto wants collaboration between county health leaders who have been doing the trainings and the schools.
They're very professional about the way they've been handling the trainings. they should probably work in partnership with APS and figure out a way that we can get all of our students trained.
I actually gave mine to my grandson who was going back to college.
A sign of the attention given to this epidemic. Even the county board was trained to use Narcan at a recent meeting. And as more people, now younger people, might have more chances to use the life-saving medication, Basurto tells us it's important for the district to include everyone when crafting the plan.
Don't forget about us. And it's not only Latino community, but you have other major minority communities here that need to be, need to have interpretation. We need to have meetings.
Now again, this policy is not finalized, at least not yet, though Arlington says a couple pieces of the policy. It will include mandatory calls to 911 and school administrators if Narcan is used by a student. And Arlington says as they work on the policy, they expect students will be able to carry Narcan as early as late May. Reporting live in Arlington, Max Marcella, DC News Now.
And an update right now on the breaking news that we first brought you at the top of this newscast. Metro has just reopened the Fort Totten station. It had been closed for nearly 2 hours after a suspicious canister was found in nearby Fort Totten Park. That investigation into that is ongoing. We'll have another live report from our Daniel Hamburg at 10 o'clock on DC News Now at 10 over on DCW 50.
And DC News Now is stretching your dollar. Don't forget, you now have less than 3 hours to file your taxes. If you're worried you won't finish in time, you can file for an extension. But there is a catch, though. It only pushes a due date to file your returns. If you think you owe money to the IRS, you'll still have to pay that now. Now, coming up at 9:30, our consumer reporter Ben Dennis has some final reminders to take advantage of this tax day.
All new tonight, a big step tonight towards helping people struggling to pay the rent in Prince George's County. This afternoon, the County Council passed a bill to create a rental assistance fund. Our reporter Yamari Sase spoke to one woman on the verge of eviction about why this program is needed and what must happen before it becomes a reality.
Yeah, today's County Council meeting was filled with people in support of this bill. And one woman told me that she lost her job after becoming sick and she's exhausted all of her resources. Now, she tells me she's excited that this bill is passed, but she's watching and hoping, like many others, that this new program does get funded.
I'm personally facing eviction now. I've been out of work on short-term disability since the end of December. My rent was just increased 7%.
Heather Murphy is a single mother and a longtime Prince George's County resident. On Tuesday, she begged county leaders to pass the Rental Assistance Fund bill.
I've been trying social services, HUD, housing. I'm told there's no assistance in PG County, and maybe I should even look at going somewhere else. And it's scary, and it also adds extra stress and anxiety on top of something that I'm already going through.
COVID emergency funds used for rental assistance are running out, and now council members are looking at a more permanent solution.
We have to think about what can we do as a community.
Some landlords also spoke, saying they don't want to be looked at as the bad guy.
Sometimes there's forces at work which are kind of beyond landlords' control. Maybe something can be done to tone down the adversarial nature of everything.
Ultimately, the county council voted in favor of passing the bill.
Motion carries 10-0.
Now, the challenge is ensuring there's enough money in the budget to execute this new program.
The next step is making sure that a budget amendment for this bill is passed. And you have to hold every single one of us accountable.
Now, the bill will allow families to get assistance for up to 6 months, and they can reapply every 2 years. Councilmember Orietta tells me that she's hoping to kick off the program with at least $1 to $2 million. For now, reporting in Prince George's County, I'm Yamari Sase, DC News Now.